most important thing is that you have a vision, that you have a goal. Because without that vision and without that goal, again, you're drifting around and you're never going to end up anywhere. People don't become successful just by accident. You know, I mean, maybe the guy that found gold in California and started the gold rush, but don't count on that. That's the one in a lifetime kind of a situation. So you got to really have a specific goal. And to me, to have that vision that I want to be Mr. Universe, that I want to be the greatest bodybuilder of all time, that was a great vision, and that specifically to look like Reg Park and to be up there on that stage and to lift the trophy overhead and to win the championship over and over and over again. So that was a great goal. You have to have a goal. Now, it doesn't have to be that specific goal, but it has to have some goal. This is why I always recommend to people, sit down, take your time, and start thinking about, why do you want to work out? What is your goal?
Several movies that failed, and but at the same time I have to say that I did not regret making any of them, because at the time they all sounded good. At the time, to me, they all seemed like they were great career moves. You know, it's always easy to be smart in hindsight and to look back and say that was a mistake, but it doesn't help you. I mean, I think the important thing really is to learn from those mistakes and then to move forward in a better way and in a smarter way. Because to me, you know, life is short and you want to pack in as much as you can while you live, rather than just exist.
Look for that thing that moves you. I don't know what it is. I like repetition. There's a saying goes, repetition keeps me green.
Yeah.
I love that saying.
Repetition keeps me green.
Keeps me green, because fresh.
Right.
Because the idea that we do performances over and over again, you would say, well, doesn't that get boring or stale? But no, it's in the repetition that the creation comes, that the expression comes. Because I'll give you an example. I was doing Richard once, not particularly well, and this show was going on, and we couldn't get this court scene with a lot of people in it. I didn't understand what I was doing in the scene. So we would call rehearsals. We would rehearse it and stuff, and we would talk about it, think about it, you know, like all this kind of work where people together are trying to figure out something. And the 85th performance of Richard, I did it on my 85th entrance. I knew the court scene. I understood it. I was there. I could play it.
But not in 84.
Not in 84. I might have been getting closer, didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I gave up the ghost, I guess. I just gave it up and said, oh, screw it, it's not going to happen, and I'll just keep going on. And I found it.
When you want something, the whole universe will conspire for you to have it. This means that when you put your vibration, your energy, call it whatever you want to call, into the air, somehow the soul of the world is affected. I think that the coincidence is the language of the stars. For something to happen, so many forces had to be put in action. According to the ancient alchemists and to the physicists of today, everything is one thing only. So they will call it atoms. And everything is made of atoms. If everything is totally connected, whatever you do interfere in the rest of the world. So science is when you look around and you see, oh my God, the universe is talking to me. I have to understand this language. How can you understand any language? Is by taking the risks, not being afraid of making mistakes. So you start to learn this language using something that you denied so far, your intuition. And you need to use your intuition. And you need to be brave enough to dive deep into this unknown universe and say, I'm going to learn this.
You have a voice as an artist. It's just getting your own confidence. And you find it just by doing it. By doing it. And when you're playing that character, that is your character, and your instincts on the character are your instincts on that character. And we're constantly looking at life. What is it? What is it? Where are we? Look how interesting. Look at different cultures, different beliefs. How do they come to that? How do I feel about that? What do I think? It is a daily adventure. You have your voice. It's there. Just do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Create. Don't let anyone stop you from being creative. You do it. And that confidence will come. That's why I say, people, there's no right way to do it. There's no right way. You do have your voice. It's there. And it's a matter of you just finding that confidence,
I'm hungry. I'm wired differently. I don't look at the checks. You're looking at the checks to see who you are. You're looking at the information to see who you are. No. I want to be the best version of Eric Thomas when I die that I could be. I need you to wire yourself a little differently. You need to be wired. Write that down. Don't get upset. Don't get upset. You're not wired to make the money you want to make right now. You're going to make the money one day, but you're not wired like that yet. Because what happens is you look at the clock and you say, I was supposed to get up at 6 o'clock, and it says 6:05, and you hit it and say, one more time. And then you wake up again at 6:15. You're like, okay, I promise this is the last one. Snooze. And you wake up, it's like 7:15. Like, I told her 7. Let me get my coffee first. You got to be wired differently. There's some people sitting in this room, and you're going to take this information, and you're going to do exactly what's meant to it. Some of you're going to take this information, and you're just going to take it home because you're not wired properly, and I need you to rewire yourself.
The best method to avoid fear or regret at the time of death is while we are alive. Our time, our energy must utilize meaningful way. Serving other, that's I think most profound sort of way of or meaning of usefulness. One's own survival, even animals also can do. But for service to others, there's something unique about human being. I think bondage way. Mother and child or offspring.
The bond. The bond between mother and offspring.
Even other animals also have. But they are sort of that kind of closeness feeling short period. But we, human being, because of intelligence, that kind of feeling we can prolong whole our life.
If you had a dream of becoming a writer, write books. Don't be paralyzed by either success or failure. So I'm in the process, I'm on the journey of my personal legend. Not to fulfill it, but to live it as full, as intensely as I can.
For all the young people in this room and those who are watching, know that this country belongs to you. Our diversities of faiths and colors and creeds, that is not a threat to who we are. It makes us who we are. Do not ever let anyone make you feel like you don't matter or like you don't have a place in our American story, because you do. And you have a right to be exactly who you are.
I thrive off of challenges.
Right.
You know, I like to be challenged in my life. I don't like the easy way. I like to be challenged. And the best way to do it is when you, to establish a discipline in it is through what you do physically.
Right.
That's the hardest thing to do, is to make yourself really get yourself up physically to do something, you know? Walk into a place where there's a physical challenge that you like, to go to the ring at night when you're tired or something like that, night after night after night. It's the best way to build your discipline, is to challenge yourself physically.
If you could talk to your younger self, knowing what you know, in those days when you thought, maybe it's not going to happen, what would you tell yourself?
Play it cool. I'd say play it cool and learn as much as you can, because everything you learn you're going to need. You won't have enough time to learn. Everything is an education.
I think a lot of people they see you run and they say, oh, it looks so easy, you really look effortless. But before it gets to that point, it's hard. It's like hard work. Day in, day out, sacrifice, day in, day out. Just dying. This time when you run and you just want to stop, you just want to give up, like, to hell with this, I just want to go home. This day when you get up and you know what, you have a training today, you know it's going to be intense, and you're like, oh God, I don't want to go today, but you got to go. But it's so hard and a lot of people don't know. My coach always says, in a couple of years, we're not going to have any travel because we're going to take all of it home.
This here is the reality? Do you mean that the competition is not the reality?
Listen, the work is behind the scenes. Competition is the easy part. Behind the scenes is where the work is done. And everything is done to get to that one race that you need to run.
Serving other people, helping other people, is, I think, very, very appropriate sort of action according to our intelligence, right? Or human ability. We have such sort of ability, so to utilize that ability
in the most appropriate way.
Most appropriate way is serving other people. Then, at the end, you feel no regret. I done my best, some useful, sort of meaningful life. Now and come, although sorry, sad, but no regret.